Right, links and advertisements in OSPF are very important. Very important. If LSAs are not sent, then learning link state informations are not going to be possible. So advertisements of link status makes OSPF a routing protocol. If no LSA advertised, no link state database. If no link state database, routers don't get an idea about the topology. So SPF algorithm runs on link state database. And link state database depends on link state advertisement. But in the past, we learned that OSPF is not just one small routing protocol with a group of routers. We got many groups, among which one is a transit called Area 0. And all other routers in other area, they send advertisement to this transit area, via which a non-transit area can reach another non-transit area. I repeat, two non-transit areas share links and advertisement via a transit area. In a simple term, if I need to say, area 1 advertises the routes to area 2 via area 0. So what we see here is we got various area types. So advertisement can also be various type. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't have all advertisement equal. Advertisement types are different. For example, if you take this world, every country has got a local news and international news. If you take any newspaper or news channel, the news that they play in your location, the same TV channel, the television channel which is in my place, will not run the same news. The news channel company is same, but the news they play in your location and my location is not the same. Robert TV in India and Robert TV in Houston is not the same,
Right.
but the TV company is same. But the news they play in India has got the news which is more relevant to India, not to Houston, US. So every news channel play a local news, and when they say international news, that may be same which is played in Robert TV in Houston and Robert TV in India. The international news may be same, but even in that also there will be some sequence variation, and some news may not be there, which may be politically problematic, which may not be politically problematic in some other countries. So, in short, what I want to say is that the type of news that is advertised, that is learned, they are all different. So, whenever you got many areas, the areas have got some restriction in advertising some LSAs, advertisements, learning some advertisements. According to the restrictions, they need to be advertised and learned, for which the advertisements need to be categorized. Like we have local news, international news, domestic news, national news category. Even in OSPF, we have such categories. It's all because we don't have single group, we got multiple groups called areas. If it is one big world, one government, one currency, which may happen in future, then you may expect one news, one global news, one local news. But right now we don't have some. There is no option like that. We got various continents, we got various governments, different politics. Likewise, in OSPF also we have various areas. It is
Right.
good. It is very good to keep groups and connect all the groups through area 0.
Right.
Only
Okay.
then the scalability, easy management, control, all this will be possible. If we have one big world, one big government, one big goal, only one, it will be very difficult. Whatever the supercomputers may have and robots to rule the earth, that's not going to really happen. That's a fake promise that one world order is planning to provide to the mankind. But don't worry, the millennium will come and God will start reigning from there on. That's how the prophecy says. Prophecy goes. But anyway, here in OSPF, when you have multiple areas, we have different type of advertisement. When you have only one big area, this is what the problem comes. Each router will say, oh, I have too many routes in the routing table. The routing table is too big, so I'm running out of memory. There's another router shouting, a lot of advertisements, keep on running LSAs, keep on running OSPF because every now and then new change happens in the topology. As a result, lot of advertisements I'm receiving. So router is too busy in running OSPF because there is new LSAs comes very often. The reason is not properly grouped. It is one big group. One big group, more problem. Because every now and then there will be some change in every corner. So the CPU utilization, the memory utilization, bandwidth utilization, all is going to be more if you don't have multiple areas. So we got multiple areas to minimize the routing table updates, which is going to consume bandwidth, CPU, and RAM and memory. That's the reason why we need hierarchy design. And when you have hierarchy design, we have different types of router. Some are internal routers because they are totally inside an area. Some are between the borders of the areas, which is ABR, between the borders, and some are within area 0 only. That's a backbone router. And some in one or two routers, we also do redistribution from external autonomous system like this. So not every router got this redistribution, only one or two. In this picture, only one. What I'm trying to say is this router, even though it's a backbone router, it is not equal to this one. This is also a backbone router, but there is no redistribution from external autonomous system. So this has got something additional job to do. So the advertisement going from here and the advertisement coming from here will not be the same. Likewise, the advertisement coming from here and the advertisement coming from here will not be the same because this is a border router. It has got something some special job to do because it's on the border. So every router will not be advertising the same info. Depending on the networks that they have, the links they have, the location, are they an ABR router, are they an ASBR router, or they a backbone router, or they internal router. Depending on that, the advertisement will vary.
Okay.
Right. So there is no continuation between this page and this page. So I'm just skipping 2 pages. I'll come back there. Okay, now here we go. This is the continuation of that. You know why they did virtual link in the middle? Because that is also another type of advertisement which is not seen here. But I don't want to confuse you in the middle with the virtual link concept. We'll talk about virtual link later. But one thing I want to say, why they have kept this one in the middle? Are they trying to confuse us? No. They say this is also a special router, has got something special to do, which is not carried out here. Some special job is carried out here to provide this virtual link. So just to explain that, they have brought the virtual link concept. I can teach virtual link and then I can go there, or I can skip this thing for a while, finish this topic which we have started, advertisement type, and then go back
Right.
to virtual link. Which one you want? You
Yes,
want? Mhm.
that's better. Skip virtual link for now.
Wonderful idea. Now we got link state advertisement types. Routers will always send LSA. The link state advertisements are called as router LSA. That LSA will be always there, whether it is a ABR router or ASBR router, backbone router or internal router. Any router you take, they will send always this type LSA called type 1. That is why they have named it as router LSA. Every router, whatever the role they may do, for sure they will be sending this particular advertisement, which is called as router LSA. Advertisement called router LSA. Any router you take in this topology, they will definitely send type 1 LSA. LSA type 1 called router LSA. It can be ASBR, it can be ABR, it can be internal, it can be backbone. Every router will send this advertisement. But the
Yes.
scope of this advertisement is within the area. The scope of the advertisement is within the area.
Right.
Which means the advertisement that is going from here will go here, will go here, will go here, but it will not cross the boundary. It won't cross the border. Type 1 LSA, which we are talking, called router LSA. This is a local newspaper. The newspaper is circulated within that city.
Okay.
It will not be sent to the next city because it's not relevant for them. LSA type 1, called router LSA, is local within the area. So there will be one LSA type 1 here also. LSA type 1, called router LSA, which will be circulated within this area. It won't again go to other areas. So whether it is a backbone area or non-backbone area, every router is going to advertise type 1 LSA and they are local to that area. What I want to say here is the limitation of this is this advertisement is not responsible to take the information about the routes to other area. I repeat, LSA type 1 is not responsible for taking the advertisement of one area to another area. It's not taking responsibility. So the other areas will never learn about this area via type 1. So there should be some other type which is going to take the advertisement. As I said, the local newspaper will not be circulated to other cities. So other cities will not learn anything via type 1 of this area. Type 1 LSA is local.
Right.
Next, type 2 LSA is called as network LSA. Unfortunately, this is also a local LSA type. Then what is the difference between the first one and the second one? I repeat again. This LSA type 2, which is called as network LSA, is also local within the area. Why should I have two LSAs which are local? You know about DR and BDR.
Right.
Will DR other advertise to other DR other?
No.
Will a DR other router form full adjacency with another DR other?
No.
No. Which means they depend on designated router only to bring the advertisement, isn't it?
That's correct.
So for a designated router to advertise, there is a need for type 2 network LSA. Network LSAs are only seen if you have a designated router in that area. When there is no DR in this area, let's say you got only serial wires. You see here also serial wire. Here also serial wire. Let us assume this is also serial. This is not a serial wire. It's a straight cable. Of course, it's a Ethernet wire, cross Ethernet. But these are all serial wires. There won't be no DR, no DR here, no DR, no DR. And if I make this as a point to point, there won't be DR, no DR. Which means in this area 1, you will never find type 2 LSA. Because type 2 LSA originates only from DR. Type 2 LSA originates only from DR router, designated router. So we need special LSA type called network LSA because we got a special router called DR. We got special LSA called designated router. Because you got designated router, you need a special LSA. Network LSA is also within an area.
Right.
So through this type 1 and type 2 LSA, the other areas cannot learn anything, isn't it?
That's
Because
correct.
they are local to the area. These two LSAs are not responsible for other areas to learn about this area. So there is another LSA we need, which is called summary LSA. Type 3 LSA is called as summary LSA. This is the LSA which is going to convert the type 2 and the type 1, which is collected here. Both type 1 and type 2 is collected here, and that is converted as type 3 and sent to other area. I repeat, this border router, no, they convert all area 1, type 1 and type 2 LSAs into type 3 and they send it to the other area. Likewise, the type 1 and type 2 of this area is converted by this ABR and sent as type 3. So what I'm trying to say here is you have a special LSA type called summary LSA, which is taking the advertisements of one area to other area. How do they get the routes? They convert area 1's type 1 and type 2 into type 3 before sending it to area 0. Likewise, area 0's type 1 and type 2 are converted into type 3 before sending it to area 1.
Right.
So when an advertisement is sent from here as type 1, this router will receive it as what? Type 3.
3.
Up to here it was type 1, but when it crossed the boundary, it goes as type 3. We call that type of advertisement as summary LSA. Summary. Now I want to ask you a question. What is type 1 LSA? The router LSA means what they do, what they carry. They carry the local information. And when you send it to another area, will you summarize it or will you keep it detailed? It's a local advertisement.
Summarize.
Of course, we'll summarize. You know, today in Houston, the price of tomato has reached high, and the price of brinjal has gone down, and the price of onion has gone high. This is the news that is in Houston. But when you send that information to the neighboring state, you won't say that detail. You will summarize and say simply, there's a big variation in the price of vegetables in the market today. Boom. You don't go more granular with the tomatoes and the potatoes and brinjal. You summarize.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is, the reason why type 3 LSA is called a summary LSA is, you need to summarize it before sending it out. If you don't summarize, it is going to be a detailed type 3, which is not necessary. I repeat, OSPF never do auto summarization. No auto summarization. OSPF will never do automatic summarization. But type 3 LSA is named a summary LSA. You know why? Because it is originating from where? From the place where we do summarization.
Summarize.
If you want to do summarization, where do you do? On the border router. No other router. Because this LSA type 3 is originating from the border router, because it originates from the border router, we have a name called summary LSA, but they are not truly summarized. It is a good practice to do the manual summary. You need to do summarization properly before sending it to other area. Only then it will be scalable. Only then it will be useful. Otherwise, there is no use of having multiple LSA types. What is the use? You have a lot of advertisements, local advertisement, national advertisement, international advertisement, but when you do advertisement, if you don't do summarization, not good. Not good. You have to do summarization. Only then the variation, the different classification of advertisements are properly used. So do summarization, then you can have total benefit, good benefit of having this LSA types. And the summarization is done on ABR, which is a summarization point. And LSA type 3 also originates from the ABR. That's the only reason why it is named as summary LSA. Type 3 LSA is called a summary LSA because it originates from where? Type 3 LSA originates from where?
From the border router.
Yeah, which is a summarization point. So, is the summary LSA by default summarized? I'm asking you a question. Is the summary LSA?
No.
No. Because OSPF never does auto summarization. Name may look like a summary LSA, but they're not truly summarized if you don't summarize it. So when you receive it on this R4, let's say, you will have still detailed, but which will be under summary. Under the summary, you will see all detailed LSA if you don't do summarization. So because of the name, we should not misunderstand that they are already summarized. No, they are not summarized. It is just a name summary LSA because The LSA originates from the summarization point.
Right.
Now, let me go to type 5 and then I'll come back to type 4.
Okay.
Why I'm doing that? Why should I go to type 5? Because the type 4 is dependent on type 5. Type 4 and type 5, they don't originate from same place, but they are connected. I repeat, type 4 LSA and type 5 LSA, they don't originate from same place. Type 4 LSA and type 5 LSA, they don't originate from same place. But they got same, they got something similar. We'll talk about that in some time. So I want to first of all touch type 5, then I'll come to type 4. What is type 5? Type 5 is called as autonomous system external LSA. What it means, this advertisement originates from ASBR, Autonomous System Border Router. What it is? What is Autonomous System Border Router? Please try to answer.
Asking me?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a router that have a different routing protocol.
Okay, redistribution point, right?
Redistribution into the OSPF.
Yeah. That's the place where external networks get redistributed into OSPF. So those external networks are advertised from the ASBR router itself. So from where type 5 originates? From ASBR. What do they carry? They carry the network information that are injected into OSPF from some other source, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So type 5 is very unique, you see. It is not carrying any local information. It is bringing the external news. It is bringing the external network which got injected into OSPF. And from where this is originating? Is it originating from ABR? No. They originate from the place where the redistribution is done. You got it? So in this picture, it is from here the type 5 originates. What is type 5 called as?
External.
Autonomous System External LSA, see? Autonomous System External LSA.
Okay.
Because it originates from the Autonomous System Border Router, they are called as Autonomous System External LSA. Now type 5 is going from here, type 5 is going from here. Yeah?
Right.
And this router will definitely have a router ID because it is running OSPF. Let's say the router ID of this router is 7777. Okay, now listen carefully.
Right.
Type 5 originates from this router, but this router will say another summary LSA called Autonomous System Summary LSA, which is type 4. See, type 3 is also summary LSA. Type 4 is also summary LSA. But the difference is type 4 is autonomous system summary LSA. So this should have given you a clue that there is some connection between this type 5 and type 4. What is type 5? Type 5 is autonomous system external LSA.
Right.
Type 4 is autonomous system summary LSA. What is that you need to understand? We need to understand that because it is a summary LSA, it is originating from the ABR. Type 4 originates from ABR. But what is the information it is carrying? It is carrying the information about the router ID of ASBR. Very simple. Type 4 is saying, I got a 7777 router who is responsible for all the external network coming from other autonomous system. I want to repeat this, please understand. Type 4 is simply telling which router is responsible for any outside networks. Who is responsible for outside networks? ASBR. How do you identify ASBR? 7.7.7.7. So this simple router ID is what advertised as type 4. Whereas type 5 brings the external networks and it is originating from the ASBR itself. Try to understand the difference. If you didn't understand, please ask me the question. I would like to repeat again. Type 5 originates from ASBR. What do they carry? They carry the external network. Let's say we got EIGRP here. EIGRP routes are advertised into OSPF has what? Type 5.
Right.
And it generated where? In router 7 itself. Now, what is the role of type 4? Type 4 is just to inform everyone in OSPF about the router ID of the ASBR. Simple, only the router ID of ASBR. What is the router ID of ASBR? 7. That's all. Only that information, it is shared to every router, but it originates from the ABR, which has got ASBR in it. So it is originating from R3 and it is originating from R4, informing area 1 and area 2 about 7.7.7.7 as ASBR. Because it originates from the ABR router, because it is originating from ABR router, it is called as summary LSA. Autonomous system summary LSA. See, because they both originate from same place, they got the same name. But do they have anything to do with summarization? No. LSAs are not really summarized. You need to summarize it if you want. Again, type 4 has got no relationship with summarization. You cannot summarize that IP address, the router ID of router. You simply call it as autonomous system summary LSA because it originates from, complete it. It originates from, please complete the statement. Type 4 LSA is called as autonomous system summary LSA.
Because it originated from the ABR.
From the ABR of the area which has got ASBR in it.
Right.
Do they carry any EIGRP route? Type 4? No. Then what do they carry? Only the router only the router ID of ASBR. Exactly said. Whereas type 3 LSA carries the network information of one area to another. Isn't it? Type 3 carries the network
Right.
informations of one area to another.
Right.
Type 4 is simply carrying the router ID of ASBR. If you have more than one ASBR, all the ASBR informations will be shared as one LSA type 4. Okay, now we have seen these 5 different LSA types. Now we are going to
Right.
see 6, 7, 8 really quick. 6 is if you will have advertisements common for all OSPF neighbor, it will be advertised using multicast. Not for one particular neighbor. If you have an advertisement for many, then there will be a multicast involved in it. Those LSAs are called as type 6 LSAs. You will see very rarely. Because after forming neighbor, you don't do advertisement using multicast. Mostly it will be like link state request and link state response or link state updates. It will be a kind of unicast.
Right.
But when there is a common update for all the neighbors, you'll see OSPF using multicast and it'll be using type 6 LSA. Next is type 7, which we'll be seeing in detail when we go to special area types. Special area type is a chapter which is coming later, where we will be seeing NSSA, not so stubby area.
Right.
NSSA. So when an area is configured as a not so stubby area, only then you will see type 7. Otherwise, you will never see type 7. Why do we need to configure not so stubby area? When we go there, we'll learn it. Now, next is
Right.
type 8. Whenever you have some BGP routes redistributed into OSPF, I repeat, whenever you have BGP routes redistributed into OSPF, few attributes of BGP can be carried. Few attributes of BGP can be carried by OSPF. Those informations, the attribute informations which are carried, they are carried as type 8 LSAs. See, this is seen only if you redistribute BGP into OSPF. BGP to OSPF. When we go BGP class, you will understand why I should not redistribute BGP into OSPF. But if you will do redistribution like that, you may find type 8 now and then. So type 6, type 7 and type 8, they are rare case. They are not always seen. First 5 is always seen. No, in the first 5 also, second one will not be seen if you don't have a DR. You don't have DR,
Right.
you don't have type 2. You don't have a ASBR, then you don't see type 4 and 5. No ASBR, no type 4 and 5. So the only LSA which is always seen is type 1. And if you have multiple areas, you will definitely see type 3 also. So type 1 and type 3 are always seen in a multi-area environment. Other LSA types, they are dependent on what you do. Depends. They're not always seen. Depends. Okay, so we got LSA types, router LSA, network LSA, summary LSA, autonomous system summary LSA. And type 6 is multicast OSPF LSA. Type 7 is not so stubby area LSA. Type 8 is external attribute LSA for BGP. Now what about type 9, 10 and 11? See, they are called as opaque LSA, meaning they can be used for various other services. That's the meaning of it. For example, IPv6 uses opaque LSA. Segment routing in service provider track we learn, which uses opaque LSA. Likewise, some new features which may come in future, they need some LSAs to carry information, the new feature information. They all will use this opaque LSA, meaning these opaque LSAs are not fixed for some, they can be used by any feature which is going to come in future. So this is reserved for a development, I can say. All the necessary advertisements, they already got some name and number. All those exceptional things which may come in future, they also need some reservation. That's why we have this 9, 10 and 11. IPv6 uses this. Segment routing uses this. And there may be few more things in the future coming which may use this. It's nothing but advertisement type. All right, so we are going to see this in detail in our next class. Before that, we need to finish this topic called virtual link, which we have skipped. Let us finish this.
Okay.
What is a virtual link? Virtual link is converting an area as a connection between two routers. I repeat, converting an area as a link to connect two routers. For example, here area 1 is converted as a link here. Do you see a link here? And you see the entire area 1 is seen as a link. Do you see that?
Yes.
The entire area 1 end to end, this end of area 1 to that end of area 1 is appearing like a link. According to this router, you got a link to connect to this router. Yeah? But truly it is one area. It is actually an area. You see, this is area 0, this is another area 0, and you got one area. The complete area is virtualized as a link. Why? Because I want to merge area 0. I don't want area 0 here some and there some. Then it cannot be an autonomous system. What is an autonomous system? There should be one backbone area, then only it can be one autonomous system. You cannot have more than one area 0 in an autonomous system. If you have more than one area 0, then it makes more autonomous systems. If you say one autonomous system, how many area 0 should be there? How many area 0 should be? Only one.
Only one.
But for some reason in this office, in this picture, they couldn't have one area 0. They are split in two area 0s, which is not allowed. So they want to combine these two by putting a virtual connection, because they don't have a port to connect physically. They don't have a port, or they don't have a wire. So they want to make use of the existing area in the middle to create a pseudo wire, a dummy, a virtual wire. They're not real wire. So that this area 0 and that area 0 will merge together as one area. You understand the reason here why they are making area 1 as a virtual link? Because they want to combine two areas.
Right.
See, this is one of the use case. But this is not the only use case. You see, here let's say you got area 2. Then also you need virtual link. You know why? Because area 2 cannot talk directly to area 1. We learned in the beginning, right? Every area should be connected
Right.
to backbone.
The backbone.
Because area 2 is not connected to backbone, we connect it so that the backbone relationship can get established, using which area 2 advertisement will go to backbone and backbone will send it to area 1. Likewise, area 1 advertisement will go to backbone and it will be sent to area 2. You got it? It is only through
Yes.
area 0, area 1 and area 2 can share the updates. So area 2 needs to have a connection with area 0, but physical connection for some reason is not possible. So what I do is I put a virtual connection, which is area 1. Because area 1 is already connected to backbone area, I make use of that area 1 to provide me a virtual connection. Now we are going to see these things in our coming class lab. First, we need to do NBMA lab. Followed
Right.
by we'll finish this virtual link lab. Followed by we'll do
Right.
LSA types lab.
Okay.
LSA type. So after finishing all these labs, we'll go to new topics in OSPF. All right. So before I do virtual link lab, again I'll bring you here to explain virtual link. Before I do LSA types lab, I'll bring you here to explain you LSA types, and then we'll do the lab. Right. So that's the plan
Right.
for our next tomorrow's class. We'll start with NBMA network types.